Hello, I'm Craig from Carshalton Advisory. This tutorial series covers the Excel 2019 Expert Curriculum. Download Microsoft's files linked in the description to work through them together as we finish Section 2.3, Advanced Conditional Formatting. Let's get started. So this particular file has a couple issues with it that we'll work through together. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up the 2.3c workbook. And unless Microsoft has updated the files that are part of the download, you might notice a couple funny things. So first off, with this open, we're going to notice the rows in column A are shaded, or at least half of them are. So let's get rid of the shading. It's not a conditional formatting. It's just a shading that's been retained from some prior version of their workbook. And to do that, we're going to go Alt H. We're going to go H again, which is our paint bucket. And then we're going to go down and actually just hit our N key for no fill. And when we do that, we get a nice white and clean sheet to start with. With that done, we're going to start with our first task. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply a conditional formatting rule that is going to give us a light green fill color for any row that has an invoice amount greater than 2,000. So we're going to go through and do this so that it kind of matches what's in the results file, and then we'll spend a couple minutes at the end of the video, and we'll go through a couple ways of improving what they've asked us to do. Again, just again, in real world, some tips and maybe some better ideas that'll help make you better at what you do professionally. All right, so what we need to do is select all of the cells in this particular array, and we're just going to hit Control-Shift down arrow to go to the bottom. We're going to right arrow twice to select the whole section. Now, in order to get to conditional formatting, it's on our Home tab here. So I can click Conditional Formatting and go to New Rule. However, of course, I'm going to use my keyboard instead. So the way I would do that is hit Alt, H to get me to the Home tab, L for Conditional Formatting, N for New Rule, and I'm just going to down arrow to the Use a Formula. When I get to there, I'm going to hit my Tab key. So if you remember from our last set of videos, the key, or the trick, I guess you could say, to these is to remember that we want to make sure we have an anchored column if we want the whole row to change color. So we're going to format values when this is true. You can hear my dog Max here whistling in the background. So if cell D4, and I know it's 4 because this is the first row, and I have my cell A4 is selected. So I want to make sure that the row is consistent between the two. If that value is greater than 2,000. So the first thing I'm going to point out is I would never put an integer in a formula like this in real life. But because that's how they've done it in the solution, I will do it for now. And our format, I can hit Alt F to select format. I'm going to page down to the fill, and then we will select, they've asked us for light green. So if it's a named color, it's almost always in this bottom row here. So we're going to select light green. I'm going to click OK, and OK here. And there we go. We have a light green, and we'll just double check. Yep, that's greater than 2,000. That's greater than 2,000. Now, I can't remember, was it 2,000? Was it 3,000? Because that integer is hidden inside the conditional formatting, I don't really know what's triggering this green row. So that's just my editorial comment to the side. But that resolves this first task. So now we want to apply a conditional formatting rule that is going to give us an orange fill color for anyone that has a days overdue value greater than or equal to 30. So this is going to highlight, I guess, the second issue in this particular download file, but we'll work through it here. So again, I'm going to select this whole section. I'm going to go into my conditional formatting, Alt H, L, and N for new rule. I'm going to use a formula. And this time I'm going to say equals, instead of column D, let's see if we can move this out of the way here. We want to select the column G, which is days overdue. So I'm going to anchor that with the $sign G4. And I want it, if it's going to be greater than or equals, and my value is going to be 30. Our format here is we're going to choose, the text tells us orange, so I'm going to select that. And we'll click OK. And when I do that, you're going to notice a lot of crazy things happen. All right, so if this happens to your sheet at home, we can resolve it. So what's being triggered here is the fact that in the formula, um, in the if statement that they've provided here, in the event that everything is false, they're just putting in a blank. And so now Excel, in our conditional formatting, is returning these blanks as being greater than or equal to 30. When I look in the results file, they've corrected this formula. And so we're going to do that here as well. We're going to hit 0 in this section in the formula bar. I'm going to hit enter. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, Control C. I'm going to go down, select the whole column, and I'm going to paste formulas. So I'm going to do that by Alt, yes, F. And now all of a sudden I have a reasonable looking worksheet again. I've resolved that issue. So the next thing I'll note, when I compare this to the results file, for whatever reason their conditional formatting for this particular item is showing up in a salmon color instead of an orange. I don't know if that's just on my machine or on everyone, but let's go with the orange because that's what the text says, recognizing that our results file will have the same rows highlighted, but they're going to be in a slightly different shade potentially. All right, so the next thing we want to do is to edit the first rule so that it applies to the formatting to the rows that have an invoice amount greater than 1,500. All right, so in order to edit a rule, we're going to go again into our conditional formatting. So that's Alt-H, L for conditional formatting, and this time I'm going to hit R for manage rules, which is right at the bottom. And again, you don't have to memorize this. You can use your mouse if you want to be slow, but we're going to be experts and use our keyboard when we can. All right, so now we can see these are all the rules in play in this current section. Now I could select this whole worksheet. It's not actually going to be any different, but you can look at it either way. So what we're going to do is we're going to change our first rule, so that is this green one here, and instead of being a 2,000, greater than or equal to 2,000, we're going to change it to 1,500. So again, this is one of the drawbacks of having it in the formula here. So I'm going to add this in here. I'm going to click OK, and hopefully we'll see a few more rows turn green. When I select this, we're going to apply to turn it on here. And sure enough, we have a few more green rows. So now anything that's greater than or equal to 1,500 is now highlighted green. So the next item that we're supposed to do is to change the order of the conditional formatting rules. So what happens is if we go back into that conditional formatting, Alt-H, L, and R to manage the rules, what Excel is doing is first off, it's applying this orange rule. Okay, and then once it's done that, it goes and it applies the green rule. And the challenge is if you have something that is triggered by one of the rules, it won't get set by the second rule. And so what you can do is that's actually a good technique, is that you can use that to your advantage in some situations. However, in this case, what they've asked us to do is to change the order of these rules. So I can select the green rule, which is the one that I want to run first. I'm going to hit the up arrow. All right, and now that I've done that and I hit apply, we're going to lose a couple of our orange rows and they're going to turn green instead. So sure enough, once it's been triggered by green, it's no longer going to show us if days overdue are over our stipulated amount. So that resolves the requests that are part of the tasks. However, in real life, in the real world, we wouldn't want that to happen. So if you only want to see what the results are to match the textbook, you can stop here. Otherwise, I'll just show you a couple things that I would change in order to make this more useful in real life. So the first things that I would do is I'm going to say highlight, if I can spell here, rows with, or let's just call it highlight rows, invoice greater than. And then in this column here, I'm going to put my number. So we'll go 1,500. I'm going to mark that as an input, even though I hate these particular colors that is Excel's default. I usually use a yellow with blue text, and we'll make this. So now what will happen is we're going to key this conditional formatting. We're going to manage the rule here. And so now in this formula, we'll edit it. And now instead of greater than 1500, I'm actually going to type in that reference number. So I'm going to hit D1. I'm going to anchor that because as it rolls down and tests each row, right now it's on row 4 as I point with my finger at the screen, you can't see. It's fine, but as soon as it rolls down to the next row, it's going to be looking at the wrong cell. So make sure that's fully anchored. We're going to hit OK here. We'll hit Apply, and let's just test this out. So now let's go to 2500. Perfect. It's it's now reacting. So if anyone's wondering why is this highlighted in green, it's because the invoice is greater than that dollar amount. So it's clear to them, but it's also a lot easier for us to change. I could use a data validation to make sure it's only a certain numbers that can be picked there, but we can go back to 1500 and it looks like it did before. Next is we're going to say highlight days overdue greater than or equals to, and then we'll add another input row or another input cell, and this time I'm going to type in 30. And so let's edit our conditional formatting. We'll manage the rules. We'll edit this, and instead of that 30 there, I'm going to use that cell reference of D2. Anchor it. So now I'm going to apply this, and I should be able to, if I say 35, now this row here is no longer highlighted. If I want that to be 15, it's going to highlight more rows for us. So a quick, easy change that is going to make this a much more useful workbook for you or for whoever you're preparing it for. The last thing I'm going to comment on is the fact that we've used two similar conditional formatting styles. So we're asking for a row highlight. So now, for example, in row 4, I have an invoice amount that is greater than 1500, but a days overdue that is, let's change that back to 30, that is also greater than 30. And that might be important for me or for whoever's viewing this to know. So why don't we change this conditional formatting, Alt-HL-R, and we will change this orange. Let's edit it. So rather than using fill, let's just, let's have border. Right, let's go to font. So let's maybe have a bold font. Let's underline it. We can even do double for fun. And maybe let's make it a color that stands out as far as red. So let's hit OK here. And we'll hit apply. All right, so now it no longer shows with an orange row that it's in our days overdue. But it does highlight it in a vivid marker so that we'll be able to see quickly and point out that, hey, these invoices are past due. So it's not going to get hidden. I don't necessarily have to worry about the order that things are being done in because of that. Now, one last pet peeve of mine, and then I'm going to point out here, and I'm going to encourage you. In this case, we have a number here. And so you'll notice that the numbers that are 0 are actually showing zeros. Now, I would always make sure that any numbers that I have are going to be in a style that doesn't display as 0. And so what I mean is let's highlight these, and let's instead apply this number format. Now, I don't care about the decimals, so I'm going to get rid of those. But you'll notice that now instead of a 0, it's showing this dash mark. And as an Excel user, that's important to me because to me it shows that that cell is empty. If it is just in a general format and 0, I don't know the difference between necessarily these two rows. Now, I might be able to tell because of the alignment, but unless I'm looking at things in a vertical format, if this was a row, I wouldn't necessarily recognize. So right now, these look like the same to me, even though one of them is a small value and the other is completely empty. Whereas if I was using this number format, I would quickly recognize that, okay, so this might be a small value, but it's not a blank value. And that might be important for me depending on what particular thing I'm modeling. So that's just one kind of tip that I would encourage you to get used to doing. So you can do that either by using the standard formats, or you can create a custom format where you can have zeros show up as a dash, or you could have them show up as any other symbol as well. But dash seems to be the default one, so let's use that. Anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure you thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll look for you in the next set of videos. Thanks for watching.